Welcome to the Health and Happiness Show. As many of you know, I, Janet Hawkins, will be your host this evening. And I hope this finds everyone staying on track after starting some new beginnings for the new year. And we're going to support that this evening by our main topic is going to be going in and talking about renew and refresh. So, but before we get to that, we are going to go through some few other things. First of all, many of you know that I do a newsletter every month. And so the one that we did for the month of March is, here it is winterizing your body to stay healthy. So here we are in March, and look at this. Here we are, the daffodils are up like 4 inches already, and I do the recording in February for preparing for the month of March. So, I feel as though spring is right around the corner. Today, driving up to do the recording, the temperature's like in the 50s, and then it'll drop maybe next week down to the 40s, or maybe the 30s. So, but I feel as though spring is very near. So even though spring is near, I am seeing a lot of clients are getting calls which are having like flu-like symptoms or a cold, things of that sort. And so what we have to do is a lot of it seems to be in the lungs this time. And a lot of people have considered taking like mullein, which works very nice, or astragalus works very nice as well. Those are two plant herbs that work very well for the lungs. And we talk about that in the newsletter as well. And then also you have to remember, it's been long, dark days, and we've been decent with weather for the winter time, but still a lot of people deal with a lot of depression. And so with the depression, it's very, very important that we take our vitamin D3. D3 is vital because we get that from the sun. And yes, we've had a couple days. Yesterday was beautiful for sun. Today was kind of gloomy and doomy and a little rainy. So it's very important to substitute your body with D3, in my opinion. I personally take 6,000 units a day. I am type A blood. Type A blood doesn't have the strongest immune system as a type O does. So that's one reason I take the 6,000 units a day. Now, whenever you get blood work done, and I've told you this over and over, make sure they check your vitamin D3 level as well, because anything under 30 is in the basement, and mine was like in the 60s. I know I'm going to have a blood draw in the next 2 months because I do that yearly to keep an eye on what is going on. And mine last year was at 66, so I'd like to get it up a little bit more, like into the 80s, because I feel as though that would help the immune system, give it a little bit more of a push. So we were very blessed. We were able to go to Central America. We just got back like maybe 12 days ago. And the weather over there was beautiful. We went over for some R&R, which we go away every January for a week just to kind of rest and regroup and get ready for the next 6 months. So anyway, it was 90 degrees over there, and the sun was out every day. And of course we went to tour the Panama Canal and went through the rainforest as well. So we were very blessed with being safe and enjoying the trip. But the one thing I wanted to share with you, I found it very interesting because on our way out, we had a delay in Miami because of mechanical problems with the airport at the airplane. So we had to wait for 5 hours. Well, you know me, I'm observing people, and I'm observing how overweight people are. I could not believe it. And what can you find to eat healthy in the airport? Thank goodness I had packed some tangerines and some snacks for us, just for us to snack on as well. So we had those to snack on. So we get over to Panama finally, and I'm observing this. The food is excellent. They have lemons year-round, and they also have pineapple. It was just very, very good fresh fruit. The fruit was excellent. So, but one thing I observed, I did not see one overweight person in Panama. Now, I might see a few stocky people, but there was no people that were really overweight. So I found that very interesting in a different culture, how we can see the difference by coming back to United States. It was like culture shock when I went out on Monday to do some shopping. I was like, oh my goodness, you know. So we have to be aware what we are eating, and we have to be in charge of our body and exercise and eat quality food as well. Just remember, we've talked about this over and over. We've got to keep our body in balance. And number one is diet, nutrition. And we're going to talk about that somewhat today. And then also we have exercise. E is for exercise. And then we have the two S's, stress and sleep. And then, of course, number 5 is our attitude. We have to keep all of these into balance. It's so, so important. So just remember, you are in charge. You're your CEO, is what I tell my clients. So this is up to you to take what path you want to take. And I know it's very difficult, very difficult. But we have to keep on track and, you know, get our exercise and try to plan out your menus for the next week, if that will help you, okay? So now another thing is, since I'm getting a lot of calls on viruses and flu and sinus issues as well. I personally we came back on a Saturday, and then on Monday I was very congested. And when I was over in Panama, I had a lot of allergies, which I thought was very strange. Thank goodness I had taken my ALJ. So I was taking 4 of those at least once a day. And that really helped me cope with that. But being 90 degrees, humidity is high. So, you know, it was the first time I experienced that in a foreign country. So I get home, and on Monday I noticed that I had a headache and I was getting chills. And I'm like, I'm thinking maybe I have a sinus infection. And of course, I'll be honest with you, I took the COVID test. It was negative. I took it on Monday, and I took it on Wednesday, and it was still negative. So I said, no, it's sinus. So what did I do for this sinus congestion? I want to share that with you, because with the weather being warm and then being kind of calming down and getting cold, it creates a lot of problems. So for the sinus congestion, what I did is I did the SIAR. And thank goodness I had that open, because I had used it probably, I'm thinking maybe 2 years ago when I had some sinus issues. So I really went on it and really worked on it. Now, so what it is, let me tell you what is in it. So in the SIAR, it has golden seal, which is a natural antibiotic, okay? And then it has Indian tobacco, which will go in and relax the bronchioles, and you can rub it on your chest, which I did not, because the lungs really weren't bothering me. All I had was a lot of mucus and a cough, and the headache, I had it gone within 1 day, okay? And then it also has a little bit of wild rosehip, which is vitamin C as well, has some Siberian ginseng in it, some licorice root, which is going to feed the adrenals as well, and it has some bitter orange, and it has some bayberry. Bayberry is excellent for the sinuses. So what I did is I took this and I did probably about 40 to 60 drops 3 times a day in water. And this is in a tincture of alcohol. So I had opened this maybe 2 or 3 years ago, so it was still fine. So being in alcohol, it's preserved for a long period of time. So that is what I personally used. And also then for my cough, I used wild cherry bark. They used to use this a long, long time ago, back in the olden days, wild cherry bark for coughs. And I used that, and I did about 60 drops, and I mixed the 2 of these together. And the cough, I had it gone in like 3 days. So, but I'm still having a little bit of mucus drainage, but not much. But that, I believe, I relate that to the fact that my lymphatic, I'm always working on my lymphatic because it tends to be congested. And that's where I have to use the rebounder or the jump rope, and then of course I'll go walk. But you have to understand, I didn't work out for 2 weeks while I was gone, and I did do a lot of walking. So I'm working on the lymphatic now, and the mucus is much better. I would say the drainage is probably reduced by at least 75%. So I'm just saying these are some go-tos because, of course, it did run through my mind maybe to go to the doctor. But I said, no, I'm going to do this the alternative way. If it doesn't work, then I would go to plan B and go to the doctor. But it worked, so there you go. Now, also, we're getting a lot of calls on the flu and the viruses. And so we have different choices. And I just shipped out 4 bottles of the olive leaf to a family in Fredericksburg. The old order Amish are totally into the herbals, and I like their page that they're on. That's the same page I'm on, and I do a lot of mail orders for them as well, especially in the Holmes County area. So I sent them olive leaf, which is great because that works on a viral bacteria, candida, or parasites. And you can actually take this every hour if you prefer, and it will go in and help the immune system and help with that as well. But what I normally do is I usually muscle test you whenever a client comes in, because I have a couple of clients coming in next week for some different areas of concern, and I will be muscle testing them on what products may be beneficial from them. I know the one lady is coming in, she had some abnormal test results, and it could be a cancer situation. So we'll be muscle testing her for ET, and of course milk thistle for her liver, red clover blend, and whole apricot. So these are some different things that can go in, and we have to change that internal environment for it to get back to its regular balance. And then we also have the IVH. The IVH is a whole different ball game. That one is, it has, let's see, it has a, IVH has, okay, it has echinacea in it, which is very interesting because echinacea goes in and it helps the white blood count. Also, it has a little bit of olive leaf in it, and it has wild rosehip and yarrow. And the yarrow and the wild rosehip are totally vitamin C. So that's the one that we will muscle test for that as well. And then we have another one which I really like because I personally had been having a problem whenever I do my saliva and urine testing on myself. I kept having a virus, and I've been fighting this probably since the fall. It was just in the yellow zone, which is minimal, but it was still there, and that really bothered me. And I had tried the olive leaf. I muscle tested one time for that, then the IVH. And then I decided I'm going to do the SBT. The SBT is wonderful. And this one is, let's go in and get the printout on that one. Okay, the SBT. Okay, so this is a combination of grapeseed, and it has echinacea again in it, which is going to help the white blood count. Okay, and it also has mugwort if there's any parasites, and it has sanicle as well. Totally different combination. And so what I did is I took a teaspoon 3 times a day with water, and guess what? The virus is gone. So I had to find what worked for me, and that's what I found. And I like the liquid herbs because they are very easy to take, and they get into your system much faster, in my opinion, as well. So those are some of the issues that, due to the weather changes, it's cold and it's warm, that we have been dealing with as well. Also, I wanted to share with you that we have some fresh oranges here. So these are honey bells, and they're from Florida. And so hopefully you have your pencil and paper out, because this is the citrus catalog, and it comes every fall. So what I did is the honey bells are only available in January and February. This year they were running late, and they come in February. They are the sweetest, sweetest oranges, and we always give a gift to our children for Christmas for the honey bells as well. So I'm just saying, what you can do, it's called the Sun Harvest Citrus, is what it's called, and their phone number is 1-800-743-1480. Now, I'm sure they may have some now. I'm not sure. You would have to call and check because we ordered ours in December. But the number again is 1-800-743-1480. And they have different sizes, of course, of the amount of oranges that you can order. So I thought what I would do is I would show you how we work it. What I have done is we have the juicer here. And yes, I got that at the Bed Bath & Beyond. And so what we do is we just cut the orange right here in half. And I know my grandson, Dean, he loves to make the orange juice. So what you do is you just turn this on. So that's all we do to get the juice out, which is really kind of cool. So here we go again. So that's the juice of one orange. So, and it's a Honey Bell from down by Fort Myers. And I will save this for Joanna or John so they can have some of their vitamin C today. Okay? So, yeah. So it's really, really very tasty. And I just keep them in the garage where it's cool. And then we go out and get it, at least probably every other day to have fresh juice. So there you go. And I love the little juicer here. It makes it so much easier than manually doing it as well. So I just thought I would share that with you for an option as well. Okay, so now here we are. Okay, so now it is time to refresh and renew. So as you know, our disease today is developing from the standard American diet and toxins. Whether we realize it or not, the outside of our bodies are exposed to many toxins every day. These toxins can include the environmental pollutants. It may be food chemicals. It may be preservatives. It may be heavy metals. It may be pesticides. It goes on and on and on. We inhale and we ingest come in contact with these toxins just all the time. It's on Earth. We can't escape it. And the thing is, the FDA approves the chemicals, but they do it one at a time, not in a combination. Because I am seeing more and more and more and more people are having heavy metals. So where are we getting it? It's coming from the air, in my opinion. But maybe if you are an electrician, maybe you are a mechanic, maybe you're a beautician, it could be coming from that, especially being a mechanic. So the one product that I like for heavy metals is the Pure Body Spray. And what you do is you just do 4 sprays 3 times a day. And you go 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. And I took mine this morning about 8, so I think we can do it again. So it's 4 times, and it's really cool because it's an easy system to remember. And it doesn't matter if you are eating or if you've drank some coffee or some water, you can still do the spray. So that's what I like for the heavy metals. So just remember, our body is like an engine that requires a fuel source, but it needs to be cleaned and rebuilt as time goes on. So if you use bad fuel, your car will not run properly, and eventually it will start running. The body is no different. So since men and women have chosen to fill their bodies with bad fuel foods that leave a lot of residue in their tissues, they must clean the body out or suffer the consequences. In my opinion, diseases are nothing more than signs and symptoms that reflect the body needs to clean and rebuilds itself. So, in nature, all forms of life consume some sort of food to support our health. So most of nature eats intuitively. Human beings have lost a great deal of this intuitiveness, and so unfortunately they primarily consume what society has taught them to eat. And it's very interesting. Since money is one of the major motivating factors in today's world, many products and foods are sold for financial gain at the expense of personal health. So this is why you have to be the CEO of your body, and you control what you put in your body. And, we have the dirty dozen list. Remember, we talked about that last month. We've added one item to that, potatoes. And they have the organic potatoes. Cindy Pediti has some, which she will be on next month to get us started on our gardening. And then they have them at Fresh Thyme. I think it was $3.99, and I'm not sure how many pounds it was, but I prefer the red organic potatoes. So you've got to become a label reader. So, of course, we have our strawberries. Those always have to be organic because they use so many pesticides and chemicals on the strawberry fields, and most of them come from California or in Mexico as well. And then we also have our celery, we have our apples, and we have our pears and our grapes. So what we have to do, and that's why I personally like to go to Raisin Rack, because you walk in and everything is organic. So you don't have to pick and choose on what part of the store you are in. All the produce is organic. And I don't want to hear it's too expensive. It isn't expensive. Once you invest in your health, you think expensive is whenever you get ill. The medical costs, the procedures, everything. So we have got to invest in our health, and may it be organic, but it is going to support your body and be well. So, we have to understand our bodies can handle a certain amount of toxin exposures through our built-in detoxification system. And we have 4 of those. We have the colon, and we have to keep that colon open, okay? I did a show last week, and the one lady didn't poop it every 3 to 4 days. We can't do that. You're getting auto-intoxication. We have to have the colon moving every day. So we try to go to the root cause. I'm asking her how much water she drinks. Remember, water is vital. You take your weight. You weigh 200 pounds. Take half of that. That's how many ounces of water you need a day, 100 ounces. We have to go in and lubricate and get the moisture in our body. So that's the first area where we start on that particular situation. And then we have the colon, like we said, and then we have the urinary system. And then we have our lungs and our skin. And there are times when our bodies may need assistance, and that's like with her colon. We went in and we talked about that, and we got her started on drinking more water and put her on LBS2, long, brown, and smooth, which has a little bit of cascara, which is a bitter herb, but it'll open up the colon. I don't like cascara sagrada by itself because it's bitter herb, and it can go in and cramp the colon area and the stomach, and that is not going to make you a happy camper. Or you can use some magnesium complex. Take that before you go to bed. That'll relax the colon a little bit as well. Or a probiotic, because a probiotic can also go in and help with the colon and have better bowel movements as well. So we have learned that the best way to deal with many health problems is to clean and nourish. So cleansing can come in many forms, from increasing the water, which is talked about, and reducing the toxic overload in your lifestyle. And to detox and cleanse, there are many different things we can do, and we're going to talk about that here in a bit. The one thing that I like too is we have our water. A lot of people just don't like water. Okay, I don't like to drink water. I get it. I don't either, so I like to use the liquid chlorophyll. The liquid chlorophyll is going to go in and balance your pH, because when we're too acidic, that is when disease begins. And also it's going to go in and help detox you. It's also going to help your hemoglobin, the red blood count. So what you do is you add just a little bit of chlorophyll to your water, and you drink it throughout the day. So also what I do too, like whenever I do a show or when clients come in to visit for a consult, I always provide them some Kangen water, 9.5, with the chlorophyll. So then the extra strength is the only one that I like rather than the regular one. The extra strength is amazing. And then what I do too if I have any water left over, I will give it to my plants. My hibiscus will bloom in 2 days after I have given it chlorophyll water. And so if it does that to a plant, what is it doing to your body? It's going to get more oxygen into your system because of increasing the blood count, red blood count. So this is a good way. And so that's choice number 1. The other choice to help with your water intake is add fresh lemon juice as well. And that will go in and it will help your pH to be more alkaline. I know it's acidic, but once it enters the body, it's more alkaline. But again, make sure you get the organic lemons, not the regular ones, because you're going to squeeze it up and put it in there. And so, but I prefer the chlorophyll over the lemons. So it's very, 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 very refreshing. Okay, so so what we have to do is we have to go in and feed our body the foods that it needs. And we can do that with diet, and you can do it with supplementation, but also making sure your digestive system is working with you in absorption as well and utilizing it. Now, a lot of times after the age, we have to remember this, after the age of 50, a lot of times people are talking to me and coming in to me, they have acid reflux, they have GERD, they have all different types of gastro issues. So what we have to remember, after the age of 30, every 10 years we lose 10 to 15% of our enzyme production. And when you cook your food over 118 degrees, you kill the enzyme. So this is why enzyme production, I personally take enzymes just when I'm eating a heavy meal. Like a lot of times, especially when we make my turkey meatloaf and my Brussels sprouts, I will have the digestive health, gut restore. It'll go in and help break it down. Now, if I have some vegetable soup or some noodle soup, no, I don't need that. Or if I have my yogurt and my fruit, no. Or if you have a fresh salad, you really don't need that. So you have to kind of pick and choose and listen to what you are eating and decide if you need an enzyme as well. So what we have to understand, spring is a wonderful time to help your body release what it does not need to lighten its toxin burden. Just as we spring clean our home, our body's natural tendency is to do the same, not just mentally, but also biologically. Even nature works with you, providing spring greens and detoxing herbs. If you are feeling sluggish, a little reset can help rebalance you, leading to increased vitality. So if you're feeling a little sluggish, time to say, okay, are we back on track? Are we watching what we're eating? Are we exercising? We have to move or we lose. I'm serious, because I noticed that I did not exercise as much when I was out of town, and I felt much better once I got back into my routine after getting home. So you have to move and keep moving, because that's going to, remember, the lymph system doesn't have a pump like your heart does. So we have to get moving to get it working. So I am going to suggest that everybody gear up our bodies towards a healthier lifestyle, moving forward into a 30-day detox during the month of March. So this might be the month that you want to say, hey, I want to go in and I want to try this. So when we do a detox, it's very important. Whenever I do the iridology, I can go in and I can see the toxins in your body. And whenever I see the toxins on a client, I suggest they do a cleanse, at least every season change. So here we are going into spring, so it's time to move forward. Now, whenever we talk about a cleanse, we talk about improving our diet, of course, and then this is my go-to, my favorite one, the Tahi cleanse. Excuse me. There are 30 packs in here, and this has a liver combination to clean up the liver. The liver is what does all of the filtering, and it gets congested like a sponge. And then it also has burdock. Burdock will go in, and that will clean your blood. Then it has an all-cell detox, which is going to clean at the cellular level. And then it also has a little bit of fiber. It has a little bit of LBS2, which is long, brown, and smooth. It also has black walnut in there. And there are 30 packets. And and what you do is you just take one packet at the evening meal or before you go to bed. Sorry. So what you do is you get results in 10 to 12 hours. By results, that means you're going to have a bowel movement in 10 to 12 hours. So you have to be careful whenever you decide to take your one packet. So if you are a teacher and you have to be at work at 8 o'clock, you want to take it by 6 o'clock. Or if you work for the UPS, or if you're a mail carrier and you have to be to work at 7, then you're going to take it when you get home from work. So you have to plan accordingly. This is my favorite cleanse and supplementation-wise because it is systemic. It's cleaning the whole body. It's not just targeting the colon. When I hear colon cleanse, I'm like, it's okay, but I'm more into the systemic. So we have 30 packets, and that's a 30-day cleanse. And then with doing the cleanse, it's of course best to try to eat as healthy as you can. And we're going to go through the Dirty Dozen again at the end and then talk about some lifestyle changes as far as foods that we're buying as well. So this is my number 1 that I use, and then the number 2, and then again, we muscle test you on those as well. So this one is the Clean Start, and this is a whole different ball game. And this one has a packet that you add water to it. It has some chlorophyll in it. It has some bentonite in it as well. And then it also has some psyllium hulls in it and some aloe vera. So what you do is you empty the packet out into the water and you drink that every morning, okay? And then it has a packet that you follow that with it as well. And that has a little bit of cascara. It has a little bit of Oregon grape, which will go in and clean the liver as well. Some red clover, cleaning the blood. And then it also has a little bit of ginger. And then also it has burdock in it as well. And it also has spirulina in it and marshmallow as well and yellow dock. So that's a good combination too. And it has a little bit of milk thistle too. So this one is totally different. So what you do is you do the cleansing drink and before breakfast and then before dinner. And then you can take the contents of the capsule packet and with breakfast and dinner twice daily. If you don't feel comfortable doing it twice a day, you can do that once a day, whatever works out best for you. But in the Thai heat cleanse, I prefer to do that just once a day, one pack at the evening meal. This one, you can do it twice a day if you choose, or if you're really busy, we can break it down to once a day as well. How do I know which one to take? Again, we muscle test. Your body will pick up the energy, and it will tell us what is best for you. So we have to listen to that. Okay? So, just remember, we are exposed to toxins even though we don't know it. It could be intentionally or unintentionally. And the body considers this a burden. These can include things like processed foods, caffeine, artificial sweeteners. If you're going to use an artificial sweetener, I prefer the liquid stevia. The less you use, the better. If you use too much, it'll be a bitter taste, and you will not like that. And then we can be exposed to maybe some smoke, some pesticides, medications, alcohol, dyes in our foods. You've got to become a label reader, people. I mean, it's just terrible what is going on. And then remember about the GMOs, the genetically modified. So anything with soy, it has to say non-GMO if it has soy in it. And it also has to say, now, soy and corn are 99% genetically modified. And you've heard me tell you this before. What has happened? They introduced the GMOs in 1994, and that's when autism went through the ceiling. And I feel as though it's a combination of the vaccines and the GMOs as well. So we just really have to keep an eye on, you know, make sure there's no dyes. That's why you go to the health food store, and you still have to read the labels, always. And you have to remember, most toxins are fat soluble. So they have a natural way to be stored in our fat cells. And the toxins attach to the fat cells, the outer membrane, and cause cause the cells to continually release a hormone called leptin. And leptin often is called a fat hormone. And it plays a role in regulating our energy, our appetite, and our metabolism. So excess levels of leptin cause a receptor failure, meaning the brain stops communicating fullness, so which leads to continuous weight gain. So basically it boils down to we've got to watch what we eat. You know, like say for example, I like my goat yogurt, and I might add some pineapple, cut up some pineapple and put banana in that for breakfast. I'm just giving you some ideas, especially if you are in a hurry in the morning. That's a simple, healthy alternative, okay? Or maybe you want to do some oatmeal as well with some blueberries, things of that sort. Do something light. And for your snacks, you can cut up a fresh apple. Have that for a snack. Or the grapes. Grapes are very, very good. And you can put those in the freezer and have those as a snack as well. I'm just giving you some ideas on what we can do, okay? So now we've talked about the water intakes plays a critical role to help dilute the toxins. So 64 ounces of water is recommended on a daily basis, or half of your body weight. And we've talked about the liquid chlorophyll. Add that to your water. It helps with the taste as well. So diet is our foundation. Begin to eliminate a lot of the foods that you might be allergic to, or what can cause the mucus. So what can cause the mucus, or foods that you can be allergic to, are things such as wheat, dairy, and grains. And there are no calorie restrictions. However, whenever you decide that you want to cut back and change your diet, it's important that you reduce your size of what you're eating. Always try to eat a healthy variety of foods. Vegetables are your foundation. I prefer raw, of course, with quality protein and good fats. In my opinion, from the research I've been doing on nutrition, it's best not to have meat more than 3 times a week. And of course, the meat is we've got to be so careful on our meats. We don't want any hormones or antibiotics in our meat. And the reason being is that can also affect the teenagers, especially the girls today, starting puberty, by giving the hormones to the animals and the antibiotics. And that can affect you in the long term. So what they do is they give the cows antibiotics and hormones so they produce more milk. So financially, the farmer makes more, which I understand that. They have to make a living as well. But I prefer the organic milk, organic butter, organic sour cream, because I don't want the hormones and the antibiotic in my dairy products. What I found so interesting whenever we were in Central America, they had ice cream. I love my ice cream, so I tried it. I'm very cautious because I cannot eat regular ice cream here in the United States. I start to sneeze, I have allergic reaction. But if I do organic ice cream here in the United States, I'm fine. But over in Central America, their ice cream was fine. Their food was not as, not as many chemicals, and they were a cleaner food majority of the time that I was there, especially their fresh raw foods, okay? So what you have to understand that each food and its color feeds, energizes, and heals the body in its own special way. Fruits feed the brain and the nervous system, whereas the vegetables feed the muscles and the skeletal system. Nuts and seeds are structural foods. Now, like what I do, a lot of times I'll get some almonds and I'll have those for a snack as well, if you're a snacker. I'm just saying, giving you ideas on cutting back on what you're eating. No chips, none of that dead crap, none of that. So you can also get, I know there are organic potato chips, so if you really want one, you could try a small portion of those, but I would rather you stay away from those as well. The more raw, uncooked, and unprocessed food you eat, the more vitality you will become. One should at least consider eating 80% raw and 20% cooked. Always best to use organic, vine-ripened foods that are chemical-free. And just remember, when it's organic, there's a 9 in the front. When it's just the regular, it has a 4. So remember that number is on your fresh produce. So you want it with a 9 when it says organic. Okay, when it's 4, it's just the regular road. You know, they've been processed with chemicals and things of that sort. So you never need to be hungry. You can use low glycemic vegetables, can be unlimited. Starchy vegetables such as potatoes should be limited. And naturally, the sweet potatoes are a much better choice than regular potatoes. And of course, our junk food should be avoided, for it does not make sense to put junk in while you're working to clean the junk out. Does that make sense? Absolutely. And I always tell people like this, hey, if you want to be bad one day out of the week, that's fine. You're going to Aunt Jane's birthday party, you want to have some cake and ice cream, no worries. That's a particular situation. Tomorrow's a new day. So just remember, you don't have to be real rigid about that. You can be flexible as well. Now, fasting is another choice to can accelerate a detox program. For centuries, man has utilized fasting for cleaning, healing, and strengthening, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually as well. So anyone who has worked with animals has probably observed that when they're not feeling well, they don't eat. The animal is following its instinct to work towards wellness. So if you have never fasted, consider starting with a green drink fast or simply a one-day fast. I prefer an all-fruit fast. Grapes should be the focus, organically if possible. However, any fruit or combination of fruits or melons will do. Each time you fast, it will be different. Sometimes you will feel kind of foggy and kind of grumpy. Other times you will feel full of energy and mentally sharp. I believe the more you fast, the more alert and more alive you will feel, okay? So even without a fast, with a good detox program, it is very common. Here are some things that you are going to experience. Whenever you do a detox, okay, you're going to have increased metabolism. So that means we're going to be burning our foods at a faster rate. We're going to have more energy. And you could have less pain. And you could have reduced inflammation, and reduced cravings, and a better mood, and improved sleep. So spring is now the time to help your body detox. Lean towards cleaner, healthier living, and take steps to detox. Now, another thing, too, that I use is I use the hypergreens. And I've talked to you about these before. I try to do this at least 5 days out of the week. I didn't do it yet today, but I plan to do that when I get home because I just like the greens. They work well for me. It has wheatgrass. It has barley. It has powdered beets. It has powdered coconut milk. It also has a little bit of dulse in it, I believe. Let's see what else we have. Okay, and then it has spinach powder, it has broccoli powder, organic alfalfa leaf powder, and then it also has ginger, tomato powder. These are all organic, of course, organic dulse leaf, and organic stevia as well. And so what we do is I just get my little spoon right here, my little teaspoon, and we scoop that up into the water and we mix it up and we drink it. I prefer to add a little bit of ice to it, but it doesn't taste bad at all. It's amazing. It can give you a lift, and so if you want to do a fast, you could do the hypergreen drinks with that as well. That would help your body detox and give it more vitality as well. So it's some time that each individual, we've got to be in charge of our body. So we've got to get started on being proactive. So what I wanted to share with you is some of the Dirty Dozen lists. We have the printout here, and we just talked about recently. So for diet, this is the organic dozen list. It means they all have to be organic. So we have strawberries, and then we have spinach, and then we have nectarines. We have apples, we have grapes, We have cherries. I know the cherries are going to be coming in season as well. And I know they're a little pricey. Just take them and chew them slowly, okay, when they do come available. And then we have peaches, and we have pears. And then we have bell peppers as well, and organic celery. And that's another thing. If you're doing a fast, you might want to do some juicing. Do some celery juice. Celery juice is going to go in and help you be more alkaline as well. And it's very calming to the stomach also. So that would be something that you may want to consider as well. So the dirty dozen is really, really important. And then we have the potatoes, which I shared that with you earlier. So this is the dirty dozen list. And then anything else, it can be clean. You know, like your cauliflower, your papaya, things like that, your pineapple, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, those don't, an eggplant, those do not have to be organic. So it's always nice to know that. So what do we do? Here's some little things I like to share with you. So what we have to do is, what kind of water do we drink? Well, of course, we are not going to be drinking our water from the faucet. That's a chemical cocktail. So reverse osmosis is a choice. I prefer that over distilled water, okay? And you can, I think your refrigerator has a lot of that. Or if you do not have the reverse osmosis, you can go like to Fisher's. They have the machine that you can get that for 35 cents, and you can purchase that water there as well. So, and then also it's so important to put the filter on your shower because your water is going to, the skin's going to absorb the toxins coming out of the city water as well. So you've got to remember, we've got to be careful what we put on our skin because your body's going to absorb that as well. And that's like doing our detergents. I just want to give you some ideas of what to do. I do not do detergents from the grocery store. I go to the health food store, and these are the ones that I use as well. And I've used these. The BioClean works very nicely. You use one cap, 100 and some, I think there's like 128 loads in that. And then we also have the bleach that goes with it. And then please, please, hopefully no one is using any of the dryer sheets. They have a lot of formaldehyde and chemicals in them as well. So we have the balls. That's what I use. And you can put some essential oils on that as well. And it makes a very nice, I just keep these, I keep the same ones in there for like probably a year or two, and then I flip them around and get new ones. And they're very, very, they last a long time. So that's just some ideas and giving you ideas on what to do. So, because a lot of your detergents are petroleum based as well, which is not good. So I'm just giving you some ideas on that. So we talked about your water. Whenever you drink it, it should be at liquid, should be at room temperature as well. So remember, we need to eat as many live foods and organic foods as possible. And if you do not, if you really want to soak your vegetables, they do have rinses that you can soak and put it in the water, and you can soak your vegetables in that as well to get the chemicals out and the pesticides. So another thing you can do is you can add 1 fresh lemon squeezed, and then you can add the juice to 2 tablespoons of sea salt to the sink, and then soak your vegetables in that. So you take 1 squeezed lemon, and then 2 teaspoons or tablespoons of sea salt as well. And then I prefer not to use this Morton salt. I use the Himalaya salt. And I feel as though there's a lot of minerals in it, and it's a much healthier choice as well. So the habits that we need to avoid are the white sugar. If you are going to do sugar, you've heard me talk about this before, I would make sure it says non-GMO, because I feel as though the sugar beets are what are in the white sugar that you get at the grocery store. So I go to Aldi's, they have the non-GMO cane sugar, so that would be a choice, or you can use some honey as well. I'm just giving you different choices, or you can use the stevia. Okay, and then the soda, that's gone, it's done. So what we need to do is drink your chlorophyll water, and then we need to avoid our artificial colors, and of course butter is much better than margarine as well. Excuse me. I'm getting very very dry from talking, so hold on. So the first step in health is cleansing. The second step is building. So we need to go in and build and clean. So we need to eliminate from our diet the white sugar, the white flours, and the white bread. So, and the dead foods. So, okay, sorry. So anyway, what we need to do is we need to go in, no head lettuce. Do the fresh lettuce. That is much, much better for you. And rather than, there's no nutritional value in the head lettuce itself. And so we need to do no fried foods. The oils, if we're going to use oils, we use the coconut oil, or we use avocado oil, and we can use olive oil. Those three. No corn oils. Those, in my opinion, are GMOs. So they're from corn, so that is not a good thing. So we don't want to use those at all. So what we have to remember after our talking about time to clean up is that if you have any specific questions about which product might be best for you to use, all you need to do is to reach out to me and give me a call, or you can send me an email. At the end of the show, it will have my email and my phone number as well. In conclusion, what we have to do to avoid a future of not being mobile, of not having disease, don't wait until it's too late. Become healthy now. You want vitality and fun, can give you a new life of freedom and longevity. So it is time for each individual to take responsibility for your own health. You will enjoy how your body feels and becomes more vibrant and dynamic. So the choice is up to you. So you have to go and be physically active, and it will help you emotionally and mentally and spiritually. So what we have to do is keep our body back into balance. And we've talked about that with nutrition, exercise, and drink lots of water, get your rest, and that choice is up to you. So it's up to you. Do you want to make 2023 a year to feel refreshed and renewed? Now is the time. It's springtime. This is new beginnings. So the weather's getting warmer, so you can get out there and walk a little bit. It's time to start. Now, March 17th, around the middle of March, I will plant my lettuce outside because the lettuce can do well in the cold weather. So, and we're going to have Cindy on for the month of April, talking about starting our garden and planting our garden. So I'm sure the seed catalogs are coming in and everyone's getting excited about that. So just remember, health is wealth, and hopefully this has given you some opportunity and some guidance on where we need to start. So be well and enjoy springtime. Thank you.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.